Today I'm getting a little bit of a late start in. Honestly, it's just been cold. But I have a couple of things that I need to address in the garden today. And I'll see how many of them I can get done. I thought I'd take you just along. I'm gonna start by watering. In this little section of the garden here, I've got a couple of leeks. So let me just bring you closer. You can see what my actual issue is. On the inside of these leaves, you can see here, there are loads of aphids, and they're in the individual leaf-like stem sections. Put my hose on this vertical spray setting, and I'm going around and I'm getting up close and personal and spraying as many of these little guys off as I possibly can. Now that I'm done watering, let's just go over what I've noticed, because watering by hand gives you the opportunity to look at your garden and see where things are going wrong and what you should be doing better. This broccoli plant desperately needs a layer of mulch. Whilst it is growing really well, it wilts really quickly. It gets a lot of sun and it needs the extra bit of protection. So that'll be on the agenda for tomorrow. I'm also going to come around and harvest all of our chilies. We do have some of them that are actually like dry hanging. More like this one, where they've already started dehydrating on the plant itself. So I'm going to come around and harvest all of these peppers. So since we're already in July, Dunks and I decided we would try and maybe overwinter some of these plants and see how they do. So I think we've decided we might try this particular plant, because it's in the corner of the yard. So we'll see how we go tomorrow. I don't plan on pulling any of them out at the moment. The garlic doesn't seem to be suffering all that much, but I could be wrong. Then I may harvest all of these leeks, and I think I'll come along and do a little bit of weeding here too. Just neaten up the garden. And once I've harvested these, I'll be planting some kohlrabi, because I think at this time of year, in my current climate, the kohlrabi will do well here. It gets enough sun and it's still cool enough while they're growing, so I'm going to give it a shot. So far our broccolis have settled in, so have our cabbages, and the Oregon snow peas along this archway have taken off. They seem to love where they are. I'm glad about that. Then in this area over here, the goal will be to remove these 3 eggplants and plant in those little cabbage seedlings that I still haven't planted. Plan for me now is to come around and potentially harvest these leeks, and then I'm going to repurpose the space for some kohlrabi. Okay, so it's not necessarily the largest leek, but it's definitely significant, and since I'm going to be using them for leek powder as an onion powder supplement in the kitchen, supplement replacement in the kitchen, I don't think that this is too much of an issue. I'm going to make the call and I'm going to pull. Hi guys, so since I'm a bit lazy to go in and fetch a bowl for harvesting, I'm just going to repurpose this tub and I'm going to start by putting the leeks in here. Some of these leeks are a little thin, but again, since I am only going to be using them for onion powder substitute in the kitchen, not a big issue for me. Ideally, you would want to leave your leeks to bulk a little to be more like this. But the aphids aren't worth the effort at the moment. And I'd like to plant into this area some kohlrabi. Not a bad little harvest at all. So for this bed, I've removed the 3 eggplants and the basil. I'm going to come along and weed this area and plant 3 cabbages here. I'm going to be leaving these 2 eggplant plants here. I am, however, going to come along and just remove this limb so that it's not lying over the carrots. And I may come around and thin some of this foliage just so that there is more room for this plant to expand, get rid of some of the sicklier looking pieces, if there are any. So these 3 cabbages, I don't know if they're going to make it. We're going to give them a chance at least. And hopefully as they grow they will fill this area so it stops the sand from drying out as quickly. And then maybe we can rehabilitate this section. It does need more organic matter. So I'm going to have to look at getting some compost to amend this garden. For now, it will have to be done using the liquid fertilizers. We'll make some worm tea. I am just teasing the roots loose a little bit, so they're not completely root bound. Perfect. I want this little container for something else, so I'm going to move this marigold to this space over here. Hey guys, so I'm going to take a bit of a break now, have some lunch, but I'm probably going to call it quits for this video. So I'll see you in the next one and have a fantastic weekend. Bye guys.